Not too long ago, we did a video about the best game modes in Call of Duty. I decided to keep party modes off that list for the sake of consistency, but you know what? We're going to party today. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos, and today we are going to be counting down my picks for the 10 best party modes in Call of Duty. So you let me know which of these modes are your favorite. Drop a like on the video, and let's start off at number 10 with Sharpshooter. This was one of the very first party modes ever put in Call of Duty, dating back to the original Black Ops in the Wager Match playlist. Sharpshooter was a free-for-all, but every minute or so, everybody's gun would change to something totally random. Everyone would have to use the same random gun for the same length of time, truly proving who was best with each weapon. I love this mode. Sometimes you'd have all the assault rifles or SMGs. Other times you'd have weird pistols or snipers with goofy attachments. Going on kill streaks would also give you a hefty score multiplier and perks to make things easier, so it did pay off to be a sharpshooter, no pun intended. It was an awesome party mode that everybody could enjoy, and it led to some insane moments that you simply couldn't have anywhere else. Before we move on, guys, if you get anything from G2A.com, use code CHAOS for some cash back. The link is at the top of the description. At number 9. Minefield. It's kind of rare that we get brand new party modes in Call of Duty now, but Minefield was a party mode introduced in Season 3 of Modern Warfare 3. Now, it works like this. You load into the game of Hardpoint, Domination, or Kill Confirmed, which are all game modes where players are often huddled together. You play normally, but whenever you kill somebody, they drop a friendly proximity mine on their body. So basically, it's the opposite of Martyrdom. You can kill one player on Hardpoint, they'll drop a mine on their body. Then a couple seconds later, it blows up and kills all the teammates that were on the Hardpoint with him. It was a very explosive game mode. There was a lot of total BS deaths, but I think that's the point of a party mode. Nobody was supposed to take the mode seriously, and if you just went in looking for a crazy good time on a goofy variant of standard Call of Duty, that's exactly what you were going to get. Honestly, I kind of liked Minefield. I thought it was kind of a fresh party mode experience, and I was kind of hoping we'd get it with Black Ops 6 too. At number 8, Gesture Warfare. Infinite Warfare got a lot of heat for use of gestures in multiplayer, which a lot of people felt made the game a bit too goofy, but you know what IW did in response to the criticism? They made a whole game mode out of gestures, leaned into it. Yep, you know what? It was way more fun than it probably should have been. Gesture Warfare was just a free-for-all, but instead of using guns, you use your fingers to kill people in goofy ways, like using finger guns to blow them up, or doing an explosion gesture to summon a big fireball, or pinch them and squish them to death. It was complete nonsense, but in the best way possible. I think this was the best way Infinity Ward could have responded to the criticisms that Infinite Warfare was too goofy of a game overall. Just lean hard into it and make something totally unique and fun. Yeah. At number 7, Slasher. Now, this game party mode was available in Modern Warfare Remastered. It was a huge surprise when it was added to the game because it was one of the biggest gestures of community engagement in Call of Duty history. For those that don't know, Slasher was basically an official version of the fan-made party mode commonly known as Michael Myers, which was popularized by several YouTubers during the early 2010s. Raven Software was apparently big fans of Michael Myers as a custom game, so they made their own official version of it in MWR called Slasher, which was added to the game in early 2017. It was extremely popular. Slasher is a variant of Infected where everyone has a melee weapon and one player is randomly chosen to be the Slasher. Now, the Slasher's job is to do that. Run around, slice up every human player just like Infected, but here's the catch. The Slasher can't die. The pistol only slows down the Slasher, but that doesn't kill him. So the objective of the game is to outlive the Slasher for as long as possible. This was a ton of fun. Goofy little interpretation of classic 80s horror movies where the killer was this big unstoppable force running around picking off normal humans one by one. I hope it comes back in the future, because the fact that Raven Software was able to translate a fan favorite custom game into an official mode, simply awesome. At number 6, Prop Hunt. Speaking of custom games that were turned into official playlist, Raven Software was also the first Call of Duty developer to incorporate Prop Hunt into their multiplayer experience after years of it being exclusive to custom matches and modded lobbies. It's a mode where humans have to run around the map. They have to find random set pieces that are out of place, controlled by human players who are just trying to survive for as long as possible without being spotted. I mean, it's a goofy game of hide and seek. And it was first officially added to Call of Duty as a limited time mode in Modern Warfare Remastered, but it was so popular that Raven made it a permanent addition to multiplayer. Many Call of Duty games after MWR made their own version as well. So this game mode that was once only available in custom matches is now a staple. Now we arrive at the top 5. Sticks and Stones. I hope this game mode comes back in Black Ops 6, but it's been largely erased from Call of Duty due to the fact that it was based around a handful of weapons that aren't really commonplace in multiplayer. Sticks and Stones was a free-for-all, where your primary weapon was a crossbow, your secondary was a ballistic knife, and your lethal equipment was a combat axe. It was up to you to get as many kills as possible with these bladed weapons, but you also had to keep in mind that if you got killed by a combat axe, your score would reset to 0. You could go on a 19 kill streak, but then have it all reset to nothingness because somebody got lucky with a combat axe, and it would be super frustrating, but also super satisfying to pull off with your own 2 hands. I mean, how many times did you see somebody with a huge lead just to throw a combat axe right in their foot, send them back to the bottom of the scoreboard? Like I said, Sticks and Stones it's effectively been deleted from Call of Duty over the last few years because the crossbow and the ballistic knife just aren't really integral to multiplayer anymore, and this mode simply doesn't work without them, but I can hope. At number 4, One in the Chamber. Now, it wasn't everybody's cup of tea because it was actually really hard for a party mode, but that was the appeal of it for me, personally, and probably many of you. One in the Chamber was the free-for-all, but with a catch. Everybody had a pistol and a handful of bullets, but those bullets would instantly kill whoever they touched. You could earn more bullets by getting more kills, but eventually you would run out of ammo and you'd come face to face with somebody who still had the ability to insta-kill you, which led to these really goofy standoffs and dance parties as you tried to predict where the enemy was going to shoot so you could bob and weave around them and go in for the knife. Like I said, not an easy game mode to be successful in, but also meant winning a match of One in the Chamber was really, really satisfying, especially if you were playing the Wager Match playlist in Black Ops 1 and you had a whole bunch of points on the line. God points. The game mode was awesome. At number 3, All or Nothing. Classic Modern Warfare 3 party mode always had a special place in my heart because it was complete and utter chaos, and it sometimes felt like total BS, but it was so addicting, and once you got in the lobby, it was hard to back out. All or Nothing was a free-for-all variant. Everybody started off with an empty handgun, a throwing knife, and a tack knife. The only way to get a kill was by stabbing someone or hitting them with your throwing knife, but once you scored your first kill, you got the scavenger perk, which meant you could start loading your pistol up and get this huge advantage over those who were still running around with their knives. But once you started pulling the trigger of your gun, you would alert everyone in the lobby that you had scavenger, at which point the game basically turned to infected, and everyone would gang up on the person who had ammo since killing them would take away their scavenger perk and put everybody back on a level playing field. All or Nothing was insanity, but it was fun. I get excited every time it returns in a new Call of Duty game, which doesn't happen nearly as much as it should. I still think the original Modern Warfare 3 version is the best because of the map design and the knifing mechanics, but All or Nothing, it was a great time in every Call of Duty. At number 2, yes, Infected. Sometimes Call of Duty blatantly rips off another game, and that's more or less what happened. But, okay, I'm okay with it because COD Infected is awesome. It was first introduced in Modern Warfare 3, faithful copy-paste of Infection from Halo, the series. One player in the lobby randomly selected to be infected, at which point they lose their gun, they're given a throwing knife, a melee weapon, and it was their mission to run around and slice up as many people as possible, with every successful slice causing their victim to join their ranks. The match ended when either the infected team took over the entire lobby or the survivors ran out the clock, which was way easier said than done when it turned into a 10 versus 1. Infected returned in a ton of Call of Duty games. I would argue it's actually peaked probably Ghost or Infinite Warfare because those maps, they were laid out for it. There were some awesome camping spots that could lead to some super tense moments as a survivor trying to take out literally dozens of enemy infected until the timer ran out, all while trying to dodge the random throwing knives that are getting hurled your way. It was awesome. And at number 1 today, the best party mode in COD history, hands down to me, is Gun Game. It was one of the original party modes in Black Ops 1, and it stood the test of time in basically every way possible. It's a variant of free-for-all. Everybody starts with the same gun, but every time you score a kill, you move on to a different weapon. And the first person to get a kill with every weapon in the rotation wins the match. But here's the twist. If you killed somebody with a knife, they would go back one weapon, which led to some insane rage moments back in the prime years of COD on YouTube. Gun Game is such a fantastic game mode because it can literally be played a million different ways with a million different lineups of guns, and some fans have even come up with some insane custom variations of it, like where you get a knife kill and it sends you all the way back to the first gun instead of just sending you back one. There's also the popular variant where it's headshots only. Gun Game was an awesome party mode, and the fact that it's always the most requested party mode in every new Call of Duty game tells me it deserves the number 1 spot. Easily the most reoccurring and most popular party mode in COD history, and there it is. Let me know one party mode that didn't make the list that was deserving, and I'll see you guys soon.